Bum, 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 bum. You know what we do? We do the news and then tie it into the topics that we are studying, be it American government or economics, current events. Kamala Harris has once again changed her message. Her closing message for the race is never Trump. He's a threat to democracy. He's Hitler. He likes Hitler. He's a racist. They're going back to that card. Can't blame them because she and her staff had a really hard time explaining the platform because they don't know exactly what they believe. There are mixed messages going around. And as she tries to express what they believe, even CNN is saying that she is speaking word salad, so they have abandoned explaining the platform. And to win those undecided voters, they're going back to the old, he's Hitler. Well, one of the reasons why they probably are making the right decision and not explaining the platform is because the platform doesn't work. Vox, a left-leaning media outlet, tends to favor Democrats, doesn't even like her housing policy or platform. Kamala Harris's big housing plan has a big problem. Affordable housing comes at a cost. Their stance is going to be a little bit different than my simple analysis. And all you really need to understand why her plan won't work is a high school economics lesson. I truly believe that all of my students would know this policy wouldn't work. It wouldn't even put it as a platform for running for president. But unfortunately, many Americans are uneducated when it comes to economics. We're working on that, though. What's her plan? She's basically going to give everybody $25,000, which sounds great. Sweet, $25,000. I'll get a down payment on a house, and we're all going to get houses, and it's awesome, and that's not the way it works. So basically, the government's going to print a bunch of money, the Fed, and to pay this, the government's basically going to borrow all of it and then give it straight to you. And so everybody's running around with $25,000 to spend, and they will spend it. And an increase in spending means there is an increase in demand. Everybody is out there acting on their demand, acting on their desire. And when demand goes up, prices go up. We all get into bidding wars over houses. And guess what? We didn't build any more houses. The supply has not changed. We are all now fighting over that supply of houses with more money. We get into bidding wars with each other. Price goes up. We've been living through this for a while. It's not going to change anything. It doesn't work. If I'm selling a home and I know everybody just got $25,000, well, guess what? This $300,000 home is now $325,000. Oh, you don't like that? Good. I'll just go sell to this other guy that just got a check for $25,000. He doesn't like it? Well, I'll just go to this other guy. Oh, you're like, oh, well, I'll pay 20 now. I'll go up to 320. I'm going to keep looking for other people. Guess what? You bid the price up. We've gone through this. This is inflation. This is exactly what we've been living through over the last years. As government spending has increased, consumer has then been able, spending has increased, demand increases, prices go up. You got to slow down that printing press. It's not going to change anything. It's only going to force the price of housing up. We've been through this before. This is not the policy to create more affordable housing. And we can look at the even bigger effects that could happen. Let alone the fact that pricing of housing is just going to go up. It's not going to change anything. But this could have disastrous ramifications across the economy. Doesn't it take too much of a memory to remember not too long ago we went through this? So we know that the economy naturally goes up and down because it really is a representation of ourselves. Our lives go through ups and downs. Ups are when we're getting things right, and downs when we're making mistakes. And when you put 300 million people in an economy, they're spending, buying, and you throw in a government as well, it's going to rise as we get things right. But we're humans, and eventually we get things wrong. And when we get things really wrong, it can have severe ups and downs and impact the economy. Fed is supposed to prevent this from happening. But what we're going to run into is when you give everybody a check for $25,000, they're going to spend that $25,000. Are they putting it in the most efficient, productive parts of the economy? Are we running the risk of filtering the money into too much or one sector of the economy, and then in that filter having way too many risky investors or people that are not spending wisely or prone to make mistakes, which again, that's what triggers recessions. Spending in the wrong, unproductive parts of the economy. Well, what would Kamala's plan do? It'll take the money. It's it's going to filter or concentrate a lot of the money into one sector of the economy, which is housing. And the problem with that is we are giving money to people that are really not qualified to buy these houses. If you didn't have the $25,000, you couldn't afford the home, then you could not afford the home, and you're unlikely to keep affording the home, which will result in a foreclosure, you losing the home, and the market exploding. Now, as long as that doesn't get packaged into subprime mortgages that are sold as giant investments, then maybe we won't go through another 2008 housing crisis. But it is very dangerous to concentrate a lot of money into one sector of the economy. And inside that sector of the economy, we have basically risky investors, gamblers, people that could not afford homes in for homes that they could not afford. That's the way the system works. You get the house that you get because of your qualifications by going to a bank, and then you get put in the home that you can afford, that you can pay every month. And that is a productive, efficient way of using money. If we inflate what you're able to do, and we put you in a situation where down the road you may not be able to afford that home, that's when the mistakes happen. That's when the natural boom bust cycle happens, when money is not invested wisely, when we put money in the hands of people who aren't as prudent. Giving everyone a $25,000 check is going to more than likely result in that situation. And we go through the booms and we go through the bust. Probably not the best way of going about solving housing. The best way would be read this graphic novel, Build Baby Build, by Brian Kaplan. What is his main argument for solving the housing problem? It's very simple. It's about regulation. Now, in this sense of regulation, we always talk about the trade-off between productivity and making money, and then sacrificing safety, or favoring safety and slowing down productivity and making money. Well, in this deregulation of housing, you would be surprised that many of the regulations and rules and laws that slow down the supply of housing and the building of housing and the availability of housing, they are just not necessary. And in many cases, removing these regulations or deregulating doesn't necessarily result in a sacrifice of safety. Some of these rules don't make any sense. Some of these regulations just don't make any sense. They're biased. They favor certain groups. If we were to remove them, and you still don't have to worry about safety, then we would increase the supply of housing. You deregulate, you make it easier to build, baby build, you build more homes. And when you increase the supply, basic economics here, you lower the price. Now housing is affordable. Now people can get in homes. Rather than cut everybody $25,000 checks, which isn't going to change anything, and it's only going to cause housing price inflation and put people in homes that they more than likely can't afford and result in mass foreclosures that could jeopardize the economy. You simply just deregulate, take some of the rules off the books, take some of the laws off the books, allow the private sector to build homes and sell homes. And as they build and sell more and more, they will compete against each other, lower prices, make it more affordable for people to get into homes. Problem solved. There. Explain that in your next town hall. Make that a part of your political platform, Democrats or Republicans. And I believe a lot of undecided voters could get behind you.